This will be challenger number 10, OMGPOP, threatening to make it into double digits. Not only has he made a full map rotation, he is about to have defeated 10 challengers. He has won 10 series, 10 challengers, not including the king, Captain Price, who he dethroned. OMGPOP is now going to face off against VonIvan's Soviets. We're going to return to Samoski Winter for this series. OMGPOP playing as Oster for this one, going with his mechanized assault strategy. Not any hesitation in his commander selection. VonIvan is going to field Soviet Reserve, NKVD Rifle Disruption, and Partisan Tactics. Some interesting choices. The PTRS buff probably also applies to Partisan Tank Hunters that happen to get deployed to PTRSs, so that that might be an interesting side effect of this patch. I haven't seen Partisans utilized yet. Quite curious to see how that's going to perform. And yeah, that's a pretty weird loadout. No call-in tanks for VonIvan here. None. So he's either going with rapid conscription strat, utilizing NKVD, spam like a million conscripts, possibly going to try and use irregulars to some effect, and he's gone with the tier 1 opening into a penal battalion with an extra squad of combat engineers. So we're going to see some pretty different stuff here from VonIvan this game. Curious to see how it works. OMGPOP going with 3 Grenadier opening. He's simply going to send his Pios to take control of strategic points, get the victory and munitions points under his control. Grenadier is going to move to take control of that strategic point. The strategic point going to fall into his control as well.
Penal troops are standing by.
Penal battalion is going to make its way towards center.
Penal troops have secured the sector. The resistance must have been locked. We have taken it. Enemy infantry!
Penal battalion moves up to fire on those Grenadiers. This range, I honestly have no idea who wins this engagement. Probably the Grenadiers if all 6 penal battalions don't move up to fire, though. Not really quite in range to engage optimally. These 2 combat engineer squads making their way towards the south. Probably going to win against that Pio squad. Superior numbers. Cutoff getting taken here by the 2nd penal battalion. And VonIvan's M3 is about to complete. He throws a flamethrower in there to be able to possibly chase down and kill some of OMGPOP's infantry, but we'll have to be mindful of the Grenadiers' Panzerfaust, of course. Penal battalion not doing too well against these Grenadiers yet. Superior numbers they're falling, and at this range they're falling quite low. Haven't really inflicted that much meaningful damage at all. Penal battalion setting up inside the church with M3 support, trying to put a little more pressure on that Grenadier squad. Looks like this penal battalion is probably going to have to retreat soon, though, if it doesn't want to take too much manpower bleed here. Combat engineers taking control of the munitions and victory points. The Grenadier squad available to support here should be able to turn this engagement back in OMGPOP's favor. And Grenadiers on the flank of the M3 going for the Panzerfaust. They will get it off. 2nd Panzerfaust coming. Oh, I don't know. There's a tree in its way. Doesn't look too good. He had to expose himself to a lot of harm, though. I don't know if that squad's going to get away either, but unfortunately the penal battalion here doesn't have enough squad members left to do a lot of damage to them on that retreat, and they will be able to get away just barely. Kind of close on both sides in that infantry engagement. Both squads retreating with just a sliver of health remaining. M3 is going to have to pull back for some repairs. Combat engineers are retreating to the base as well. Both squads, in fact, after harassing the south munitions. And this squad of conscripts that's been fielded now after 2 penal battalions in M3. Getting that as his 5th purchase. It's going to make its way up here to the victory point, start getting some territory under control while his M3 receives some repairs, reinforcement, and healing. He got field infirmary a little on the early side, without really having that much of a combat capable force. So that might hurt him a little bit, but at the same time, OMGPOP has spent his fair share of manpower in the base as well, getting battle phase 1 and a tier 2 structure. transitioning into a scout car. Once that scout car is on the field, he's going to have a pretty effective weapon against the M3, which hasn't really done much of anything at this point. And conscripts taking control of the munitions here in the north, but that is cut off. OMGPOP will also cut off the south munitions, so nobody benefiting from munitions points as of this time. And it looks like OMGPOP is about to hold both fuel points as well.
The hard part will be keeping it.
Penal Battalion moves up to counter here. M3 is slowly receiving repairs. Flamethrower squad right there. They're probably going to jump into the M3 soon enough. Penal Battalion moving to try to take control of this fuel point. Manages to stall its capture for a very short time. But it's going to fall into Pop's hands now that the 222 is on the field and pushing them away. And Tier 1 doesn't have much of a counter to the 222 other than his one squad of conscripts, or two squads now. He's got an extra conscript squad, so two squads of conscripts with AT grenades will provide him with a bit of a counter to the 222. He may also want to consider throwing down a mine somewhere. Hurting a little bit for munitions though, having purchased two flamethrowers. Hopping in and out of the building, trying to stall for time while his M3 receives repairs, makes its way back to the front line. Penal Battalion support, conscripts moving to support as well. The fuel has been cut off by conscripts here in the north, but this fuel is about to be recovered by OMGPOP here in the south. Penal Battalions can't stall the church any longer and must retreat. Nice block with that 222 on the retreat path. Very nice block. It looks like they're probably going to get away anyway. Conscripts oorah into short range. Damage the engine of the 222. I don't know, it's kind of floundering right here. Its pathing is not going well for OMGPOP. It's taking a lot of damage from small arms fire. Nice flank there by the Penal Battalion around behind. Bringing that 222 down low. It's going to try and push the Penal Battalion around, trying to maximize its impact before it goes down. Rounds the corner away from the conscripts, but it will explode. Smoke screen should protect those Penal Battalions' retreat path. Conscripts also making a quick retreat. Up here, conscripts will be forced to contend with grenadiers. They're going to disengage. The M3 here in the south is just getting territory, I think, or trying to set up a flank from this direction. A lot of grenadiers, Pyos massed here in the center. OMGPOP has fielded a half-track now. He's going to transition into his aggressive medic station soon, fielding an extra scout car now as well to keep up the early pressure and aggression. Force his opponent to keep spending a lot of munitions and manpower just to take out those scout cars. And with a half-track available to support and reinforce his infantry, it's probably going to get quite difficult now for VonIvan. If he can make an effective push and take out that half-track before the scout car arrives to support in the engagement, he might be able to seize a bit of an advantage. He's also taking control of the fuel here in the north and south simultaneously, putting good fuel pressure on his opponent. But OMGPOP is going to move for the cutoff with the half-track support. Combat engineers continue to provide VonIvan vision here in the central village. VonIvan has selected his commander. Partisan tactics has been chosen. Interesting choice. Might see partisans deployed out of a building. PTRS is utilized to apply some pressure to the half-track. M3 moving to support in the engagement. Penal's moving up from the south. Penal's in this building as well. Flamethrowers dealing a lot of damage to these infantry. Combat engineers, however, get wiped. Any fields, anti-tank, tank hunter partisans in the building, and it applies a lot of damage to that scout car right there. One more shot could destroy it. Oh, it gets clear just in time. Panzerschreck shock hits the tree. Meanwhile, Grenadiers just got wiped in the church. Nice squad wipe in the church right there. 3 flamethrowers moving up. Panzerschreck in the building connects with the half-track, bringing it down low, but the partisans will get wiped. Lots of damage from these flamethrowers on these grenadiers. The manpower bleed on OMGPOP's forces is really severe, and he's going to make a full retreat. His super aggressive half-track strategy falls apart, crumbles. Thanks in part to some tank hunter partisans fielded there, but they do get wiped, unfortunately. That cost him 270 manpower to execute that, and although he does lose the full squad, it wins in the engagement. Pretty decent trade considering his map control is so good. He's managed to harass both fuel points here and push OMGPOP completely off the map. Beautiful play by VonIvan there in the center. M3's trying to round up this squad of guards. The 222 still receiving repairs, trying to make its way forward to put some pressure on that M3. M3's a little out of position. It's going to be between a guard squad and a 222. Guards will retreat. Pops overdrive to boost his acceleration onto the road. Gets out of there pretty quick. And that's 10 munitions, not a huge expenditure. Scout car should be able to get to safety since the scout car does not want to chase through a squad of conscripts, and the fuel will go to VonIvan. VonIvan holds almost the entire map. Partisans fielded here in the south out of the building to help with map control as well. Those are 210, pretty cheap capping squad, not as cheap as combat engineers, but cheaper than conscripts. With PPSHs, not that effective as combat troops, except against PIOs, I guess.
Combat engineers are standing by.
Oh, main gun destroyed. Nice positioning on the 222 by OMGPOP right there. That final autocannon shot should have killed the M3, but it gets away with a death crit. Just barely. Conscript's gonna try and brute force that thing to death, but I guess they couldn't get in range for the AT grenade and will be forced to retreat. VonIvan has excellent map control. OMGPOP wins the engagement. It's kind of a light engagement, but he needs to execute quite nicely from this point forward. If he doesn't get a lot of map control back very quickly, gonna be in trouble. Partisans on this map can pop out of houses everywhere to give you a lot of map control really quickly with just a little bit of manpower float. And VonIvan is now getting himself tier 3 to protect himself, of course, against the Stug E, which is going to be hitting the field very soon. OMGPOP quite close to 6 command points. And once the T-34 comes out, OMGPOP's going to have to wrestle with it a little bit. Could prove difficult. He's got the resources for the T-34 already. And no anti-tank gun, spending all his manpower on grenadiers with his super aggressive, very much infantry and light vehicle based strategy. Leaves himself a little bit vulnerable to his opponent's first tank.
The enemy have cut off a sector.
Is applying a lot of pressure to the penal battalion in that building. 222 falls a little bit low, but that squad's definitely going to be forced to retreat.
We have gained access to a spine network.
These two squads moving up to engage here as well. M3 is available here in the north. He might be able to wipe that squad if he gets a lucky flame burst while OMGPOP's not looking. Two conscript squads trying to move up on the flank here. They're gonna oorah straight for that scout car. Machine gun just packed up. Oh no! Oh, but he doesn't have the munitions for a second anti-tank grenade. He has to kill it with small arms fire. There it goes. Nice play by VonIvan. 1 anti-tank grenade was all it took. The bunker is going up here, but the T-70 actually. T-70 is already in production. Once that T-70... Oh, he should have gone T-34. There's a Stug E on the way. T-70 is not going to stand a chance against that thing. Maybe when he sees it, he will cancel. He just queued up 2 T-70s. I really don't think that's a good idea against mechanized assault. I feel like that was a build decision. He'll probably cancel the second one. He does have a lot of fuel. Those conscripts are going to be forced to retreat. T-70 rolling straight to the front lines is going to take a lot of pressure from the Stug, but nice satchel charge. Bunker is destroyed. No chance of getting that bunker into a medic station. More manpower down the drain for OMGPOP, but the T-70 has to pull back in rather defensive fashion away from that Stug. New bunker being built here. VonIvan has to pull back for some repairs, and he's not going to cancel the T-70. He's just going to have to fight that Stug with tank hunter partisans, I guess. Use T-70s purely for anti-infantry, and I mean, in all fairness, a T-70 can kill a Stug E if it gets behind it for long enough. And Pop, with this super aggressive location right here, doesn't have the manpower for an anti-tank gun, doesn't have an anti-tank gun on the field. It's going to be a long time before some proper heavy anti-tank firepower arrives, and by dropping 60 munitions on this medic station, he can't afford that many Panzerfausts either. Second Stug E on the field, however, is going to count this T-70 build hard. I really wish he had gone T-34s. such a strong opening, and now I feel that this build decision may cause VonIvan to struggle a little bit, may cause him to falter and give OMGPOP a window to come back into this game.
Supply sector under attack. The enemy has 300 points remaining. It's done.
T-70's going south. Looks like they're looking for an opportunity in this area. In OMGPOP's base. Maybe they're going to try and destroy the Tier 2 structure to prevent the arrival of AT guns. I'm not sure what he's thinking here, just avoiding Pop for now. Stug's about to set up a cutoff here outside of VonIvan's base. VonIvan about to have the resources for a T-34. He also just used Spy Network, which revealed all of OMGPOP's forces on the minimap, so he knows where everything is. Looks like the T-70s are trying to plan something sneaky, I don't know. A lot of forces being fielded in this direction as well. Not sure what VonIvan is planning yet. T-34 is in production, and OMGPOP does not have much of a proper hard counter to that. The anti-tank gun is in production now, however, and the T-70s may be able to head it off. Flamethrower moving to set up inside this house. And OMGPOP has not really cut off anything of VonIvan's until he takes control of either this or maybe this somehow. But he keeps all of his forces very close together, and as a result, his harassment potential suffers. T-34 will complete, making its way onto the battlefield. Mines going down here in the central village. T-70s continuing to defend in this general area. Tank Hunter partisans fielded in the church. Stug-E's are not turning to fire on them yet. Panzerschreck shot connects with the Stug, perfectly timed with the T-34 diving right in, but it misses both of its opening shots. Tank Hunter partisans must retreat. T-70's moving up for a flank on this side. T-34 has missed 3 consecutive shots. What is that thing doing? Now I feel dumb for recommending it. There we go, finally it does some damage. Good thing the AT gun has not arrived at this engagement yet. T-70s move into the engagement, trying to do as much damage as they can there. Focus firing the half track, but neither of them has line of sight on it yet. T-34 just missed another shot. My god, that T-34 needs to start learning how to aim. Abandoned Stug-E right there. Nice AT grenade from conscripts moving up on the flank. The other Stug just got popped by a T-34 shot. The T-70s are still alive. All of OMGPOP's forces are now so vulnerable to these tanks. And the Stug-E has been recruited by conscripts. All of OMGPOP's forces are torn to shreds. The game is won by VonIvan with a Tier 1 into partisan strategy. Good game, allies win, and we are going to jump into game 2. Don't forget the victory point ticker, everybody. VonIvan wins this with 483 VPs. If OMGPOP falls lower than 483 VPs in game 2, VonIvan is going to get faction selection for the ace game. So here we go, short break, and we're going to jump into game 2.